What is your exactly business model?
After working around 1.5 years into our business, we have identified that we have two main segments in our business. One we call B2B, business to business segment, that is our IT business that we serve for the MSME. And then there comes a B2C segment, which is a hyper-local service platform. Right?
So what was the market gap that you identified before coming to?
We've identified that to serve the IT needs of the 60 million MSME businesses, there was no particular company available at that point of time. Right, so it was a big market for us, and we've identified that yes,
How did you come up with this idea of startup?
To go back around a year back, I was working as a stockbroker. I was running my own stockbroker. In our country, there are around 60 million MSMEs. There was no professional IT services available for those businesses. And
why one should choose to buy your products and services over your company?
Who was our main competitors were the local service providers. Then the company came called Urban Company. It changed the scenario by providing a centralized platform through which one can book all these services through our online platform, our mobile application. One can choose the time slot that is being comfortable to them. Right? They can choose the date. They can choose the payment options and.
So good afternoon, sir. I am More Tanvi from Startup Lanes, and we are very grateful to have you on the board for this interview.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Sir, I will please request you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
I'm Vinay Verma and co-founded this company called Genido Technologies with my cousin, and so the company that we founded is basically it's a platform. It's a hyper local service platform, and we are focusing mainly on the tier 2 and 3 cities of our country for the starters. And why we've chosen this particular population of the country is because of the internet boom that we have faced in the last couple of years. Because of which the new smartphone users are coming specifically from tier 2 and 3 cities, and there was no such applications or such platforms designed particularly for those audiences, some urban rural population, as we call it. So we decided that we'll build a platform, a service, hyper local service platform that will be specifically designed and caterable to those particular audiences.
Okay. So my very first question. Yes. So my very first question to you is that how did you come up with this idea of startup?
I have to go back around a year back. I was working as a stockbroker. I was running my own stock brokerage, and my cousin, he was in Wipro. He was a network engineer there. And one day he came up to me and said that that he might have found a gap in the market, which is not being fulfilled by much entrepreneurs in the country. So what he told me that there was in our country there are around 60 million MSMEs, right? The businesses that are being run by small entrepreneurs, small family businesses that are being run in the country that are specifically located in tier 2, 3, 4 cities. So there was no professional IT services available for those businesses. And when I talk about the IT services, what should be the IT services for our MSME? So there has to be some security surveillance. Let's suppose that a factory is being run of around 100 laborers, right? There has to be some security surveillance there. But at that point of time, in fact today also, there's no professionalism available in the market that can cater those companies. So we've come up with the idea that we're gonna train our own engineers with our own expertise, and we're gonna provide a roof under that roof. We're gonna provide the services that are needed for those particular MSMEs at a price which are being which they can afford. So let's say that there's a client of ours who runs this shoe company in Agra, right? And that client actually needs a server, a really good server from IBM to monitor all the progresses in 3 other factories that client owns. So so the top companies in our country was quoting too much money to set up that server. But what we do at Junior Technologies is that our top level management are coming from all the top companies, right? My co-founder was a network engineer in Wipro as well. So we've managed to gather resources and the expertise that we can provide at affordable rates to those MSME, so that it's affordable to them and they can use the latest technologies available in the world.
Okay. So, sir, you can recall that what were the challenging moments or challenging things in the early stages of the journey?
First of all, we decided that we're gonna bootstrap this company to a point where we can foresee our future for the next 5 years. Then only we'll go for the external funding. So that was a challenge because in the start we have to hire the professionals, and then we have to train them to a point where they become a network engineer without a professional degree, right? First challenge for us is to make a regular graduate person into a network engineer, right? Without a professional course that goes for around 3 to 4 years. So we've come this idea that we're gonna split this into online training and then the offline training, ground training. So that was a little difficult part because we have to design those training programs, which is basically which at par to the understanding of those freshly undergrads that are coming from these universities from these cities. So yeah, that was a challenge. And then Jinro doesn't just work in the IT spectrum. We work in the salon segment as well. And then we work in the home utility and lifestyle segment as well. So it's a hyper-local startup. So for those segments, we have to find the partners those who are already working in those fields. Like for example, that our salon segment, we have to find the beauticians, right? And those beauticians has to be local. Then we have to provide them training so that they can come up with a standard at par standard, which can basically fulfill the gap that was there in the salon industry. Like if you talk about the hyper local giant, it's Urban Company, if you've heard about it, right? So what Urban Company is doing, it's doing the same thing. It's running a hyper local service business, but they particularly running it in the tier 1 and 2 cities. And their pricing model, their services were designed accordingly to those cities. But we had to design those salon or the other hyperlocal services according to these particular cities, right? According to the requirement of these cities. So that was a challenge, to crack that particular code. Like what will go in the business, what will going to be, affordable for both of the sides, for the professionals that we are hiring and for the client that we are serving. Yeah. So that was that, but yeah.
So what was the market gap that you identified before commencement?
As I've told you earlier, that it was a gap of so what we call, if someone asks us like who we serve. So we serve a regular household to a regular MSME business. Right. So what's a regular household? So a regular household is someone who earns around 4 lakh a year, 4 lakh a year household income. So that's a regular household, and to a MSME business, right? So we've identified that to serve the IT needs of the 60 million MSME businesses, there was no particular company available at that point of time. Right, so it was a big market for us, and we've identified that yes, there were small companies, right, that were serving in these areas, but there was no centralized company with trained professionals and expert engineers that was available in affordable prices. So that we've identified, and obviously the gap that has been created by the internet boom, the new internet users that are coming from these cities, we've identified that those newly identified internet user has to have some applications or the platform that they should use in their own cities that should serve them. So yeah, so that here comes the hyperlocal service idea.
Okay. So, sir, as you mentioned earlier that you have three different segments and you work online as well as offline. So, the next thing I
Yes.
want you to, define that what is your exactly business model?
So, how does our business model work is that we've identified, as the trajectory of any particular business goes up, they tends to identify like how should they define their business model.
Mhm.
So around after working around 1.5 years into our business, we have identified that we have two main segments in our business. One we call B2B, business to business segment, that is our IT business that we serve for
Okay.
the MSME, and then there comes a B2C segment, which is a hyperlocal service
Mhm.
platform, right? So in the IT business, what we do, it's a in-house business.
Okay.
We provide salaries to our engineers, and then we have a direct clientele to the businesses, and that is being run by a altogether different team. The team is being have expertise in the IT field, and then here comes the hyperlocal service business, which is being catered to the regular people in the cities.
Mhm.
So in that particular segment, what we do, our business model works as that we hire professionals, those who are
Mhm.
already working in their field, like electricians, plumbers. These are home utility services, right? And then the lifestyle services comes, the spas and the salon business, the beautician business. So we basically partnered with the already existing professionals in the city. We've trained them to a particular level where they can provide a standardized service. Our standardized products are being procured for them, so
Mhm.
that a standard of service should be maintained there. And then what we do, we charge 10% state commission on the total bill that we get. So that's
Okay.
that. Our 10% commission we charge on the B2C segment, and then we have around 15 to 20% net margin in our IT business. So that's the
Okay.
business model that we are running right now.
Okay. So, sir, as you mentioned before that you have mentioned your products and services in a gist, but still I want you to specify your products and services that you provide to your customers.
All right, so here's a portfolio. When it comes to the IT services, we have a wide range of services. It starts from before specifying our services. I like to mention that there are the services that we are providing are being designed. The
Mhm.
products are being designed, to serve those particular audiences, those who were not able to hire those services earlier because
Mhm.
of the cost, right?
Mhm.
So what we did, we've decreased the cost, right, by training the engineers ourselves.
Mhm.
uh, that's how we impacted the cost to our clients also. So when it comes to IT, we have security surveillance, we have servers, and then we have access control, and then we have IVR systems, and then we have this networking systems. So these are mainly the peripheral under which the different sub-services come. But these are the 5 to 6 main services there. And then when it comes to the hyperlocal service, it's salon business, salon for women, salon for men, makeup for women, and then home utility, the electricians, the plumbers,
Mhm.
the carpenters, and yeah, so on and so forth. The home utility and the lifestyle are the main peripherals there.
Okay. So, sir, as per my knowledge, and also you mentioned that you have an already established market out there. But still, I
Right.
want you to ask that as a customer, why one should
Mm-hmm.
choose to buy your products and services over your competitors.
Right. That's a question. How a business should become profitable. Why you should be chosen over your competitors. So who are our competitors? First, we have to identify those, because then only we can distinguish ourselves from them. So who was our main competitors? Were the local service providers. When it comes to home utility, the electricians, we all seen from the very childhood of ours in the country that the electricians is electrician, carpenters, and all these are local service providers, right? You must have also seen the same scenario. Then the company came called Urban Company. It changed the scenario by providing a centralized platform through which one can book all these services.
Mm.
So Urban Company basically gave us a really good platform, to expand ourselves further, because before that the idea was to choose the local service provider only, and there was many difficulty in them. First of all, the time issue. Once you basically book your service for any local service provider, they don't come on time
Mhm.
most of the times. And then there was a pricing issue. The pricing being fluctuated around the month. Like
Mhm.
if you choose a particular pricing for, let's suppose, the AC services, right? So AC service, one time it's 500, one time it's 4, one time it's being very fluctuated. And the third one was the expertise. So there was a lack of expertise in the services that being provided by the local vendors, especially when it comes to these beauty services, the salon services. Because what happens that these salon professionals, they were being trained by the already existing local service provider. There
Mhm.
was no expert training that they have gone through, and then they came to the market. So what we did, we basically gathered industry professionals in all the service that we are providing, and we made them the training heads of our company, and we've created a module.
Mhm.
We made our vendors, go through those training modules, so they've understood the in and out of the service that they are providing.
Mhm.
And then through our online platform, our mobile application, one can choose a time slot that is being comfortable to them, right?
Okay.
They can choose the date, they can choose the payment options, and
Mhm.
there was no basically there was standard pricing, and there was standard timing that was there, and the professionalism, right?
Mhm.
And the security, because we make sure that all our partners, all our employees go through a standard security protocol,
Mhm.
so that we can ensure the safety of our client, because our professionals are going into their homes, so we have to make sure that they are being verified by the police, and verified by our own personal verifying agencies. So there
Mhm.
was no security issue that was there. So there was around 3 to 4 things. There is around 3 to 4 things that one should choose us. It's time, the pricing, the expertise, and the professionalism that is there.
Okay.
Obviously, and because we're an online platform, we are also providing good opportunity for our partners, our professionals as well, because they are getting more revenue than they used to be, because of our advertisement, our marketing. They are getting more revenue than they used to get. So yeah, that's that.
Okay. So, moving forward in the similar direction, what are these three unique features that differs you from your competitor?
I'm not sure about the three, because when it comes to distinguish ourselves,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that there's no particular distinction, because we are working in the existing market. We're not creating a different market.
Hmm.
We are the company who basically penetrating the market.
Mhm.
I can explain it like what Geo did. Right, the telecom sector was there already, but what Geo did is Geo basically penetrated that sector and created the market for their own self, right? And
Mhm.
we're doing the same, because it's a big market, 60 million MSME businesses, and the new came up internet users from tier 3 and 4 cities. So what we are doing is basically we are capitalizing that particular market at the right time. I think we are at the right time entering in the tier 3 and 4 cities, because the newly came up internet or smartphone users is really liking what internet can provide them with a gist of their hand, whether it's food delivery or services. So that's
Mhm.
there. And what making us different from our competitor is that there's already obviously giants available in this market, but as I mentioned earlier, that we are providing the services which are much cheaper,
Mhm.
with the same expertise, with the same professionalism, with the same quality,
Yeah.
right? And how we were able to do that, by cost cutting our own professionals' salaries, and how we did that, we basically trained our own engineers, right? We've not hired the professional engineers. We trained our own engineers. We've trained our own salon professionals. We've trained our own plumbers. So that's how we have cutted the cost, and the same has been transferred to our client. They're getting the services much cheaper than our competitors with the
Mhm.
same expertise, with the same professionalism. So that's there. That's the thing that is making us different.
Okay. So, sir, till now we have talked about your customers, we have talked about competitors. Now I
Right.
want to know that if a job applicant is out there seeking job, so why he or she
Yeah.
should choose to work with you? I mean, you're working in multiple segments, so of course you need a strong team. So I want to know about a job applicant.
Yeah. So, from the very start, we've decided that our company is going to be really, we're in all of the departments. We're not, too much comfortable in hiring much older demographics. And why we're doing it? Because there's a vast population out there that is being not utilized, that is being, being the underdog. So let me share one story with you, that since we are a technology company, right? Technology is being a big part of our company, right?
Sure.
So we have to had a, really good engineers, really good developers, IT developers in our company, right?
Mhm.
So our CTO, our chief technical officer, is basically in 11th standard right now.
Oh.
So yeah, so that's a really surprising thing. And that particular guy is developing softwares for a client, and the softwares are being it's really complex softwares.
Mhm.
It's really complex programs that guy is doing. Obviously, other co-founders are also helping. I also put myself in, but he's being the lead there. And earlier he tried to showcase his talent in the other places as well. But what happened that because of the age and because of the basically a facade in our society, that obviously he's too young to
Mhm.
get into our company and get a top management position. But somehow I discovered him through internet, and we've talked and we've worked on some projects, and I've realized that yeah, there is talent in our country that is too young, and obviously because of the societal norms, the talent is being an underdog. So that's there, and our marketing team is really young. Our marketing team comes from undergrads, from the people who just came out of the college, and they have read so much, they have worked so much on the project as a freelancer, that they gain knowledge of almost about experience holder of around 6 to 7 years. So we're looking for the people who can work on the top management, uh, just out of the college, or maybe through the colleges as well.
Mhm.
So we're not looking for someone who's basically looking for a big payday, a big salary. Obviously, as a company will grow, their compensation will also grow. But someone who's like to who's willing to showcase their talent through some platform. I think this is the platform where from you can showcase your talent in different fields. So we're looking for you.
I'm sure optimum utilization of talent is, the need for an art for our country.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. That's
So
it.
the next question I wanted to ask that if not this company, what else you would be
Yeah.
doing right now?
I think I've always been into the a business guy. Basically dropped out of my CA in the just in the last year, and to run as a stockbroker. So I think I would have been a stockbroker if not the Genito. Yeah,
Correct.
the stock market's really exciting. Yeah.
I'm sure. So the next question I wanted to ask that what are the products and services you are in daily need of to run your business?
Products and services are as our input, right?
Yeah.
So basically, obviously the products that goes into the game is basically the product for the IT services, that is the technology products, and we are providing them locally from our Indian companies and not going for the imported products. Obviously they're a little cheaper, but the different it makes that obviously the Indian companies, they have this local support workshops that are spread around the country. So since we are slowly expanding to different cities, we really need a support from the companies that we are procuring IT products. So the products mainly are the boards, are the motherboards, or basically the security surveillance equipment. It comes with the PTP equipment, PTMT, and all the technical jargons, the cameras, the IP cameras, the dome cameras, the wiring layouts, and the cabinets, and all the stuff that goes, and everything is available through our in our country from our local companies that are being run, and they are manufacturing here in Young. So that's the thing there. And then the other services and products that we need, the main service that we need, is the our partners, our local partners. They are the plumbers, electricians, that should be already there in the cities, because we cannot train altogether new person to become electrician, right? One has to be an electrician. One should know the basic know-how, and then we can only expand his expertise to a level where professionalism comes. So we really need the people around different cities, and maybe because of our race, we are definitely getting those people, because there's too much work that need to be done on those people. They're not generating enough revenue for themselves, and we are helping them, generate bigger revenues and getting more calls, because of our obviously online advertisements and different strategies that we use to get the people on the platform. And then the third one are the products, the seller products, the other products that I need. So for that, we've partnered with different companies, with biotech and the different companies, the O3 professionals. So they are constantly providing us their line of products, and it's not an issue for us in procuring service and the products for our business.
Okay. So what are the parameters on which you choose your vendors and suppliers? So is it price, is it quality, or is it convenience? What do you want to say about it?
Well, it's a big list, because we don't compromise on the quality. So that's the first thing, that's basically the majority of our comprise list that we tick mark, the quality. So we have to make sure that we're providing the quality, because that's what people are lacking, right? That's what people are missing in current scenario. So there's a list. I think that list I cannot disclose the parameters, because it's something that is proprietary. But I'm sure that I can share a few things. For example, that we make sure that the person is not being incriminated in her life, right? So that the safety, and there are other things also that we check in the safety checklist. So few things are there, and then the police verification comes, and then the second one comes the intent. We have this psychologist in our team, part-time psychologist, who make sure that the person is healthy, or does have an intent, not just healthy, intent, to generate revenue for him or herself. So that's there. The intent, we look for the intent, and then when we see experience. Some we don't make vendors in a company those who are really unless it's IT service. Uh, so we make sure that there has to be some form of experience available with them from their past. So something, yeah, 3 to 4 things I can share. Yep.
Mhm. So, what are your recent and long-term goals for your business?
So the long-term goal is something that we want to become probably Asia's biggest hyperlocal service provider,
Mhm.
and I'm saying biggest in terms of quantity.
Okay.
Uh, I'm not saying in terms of revenue. Why I'm not saying in terms of revenue? Because we are already focusing on the tier 3 and 4 cities, right?
Yeah.
We are trying to develop the the standardization in those cities, uh, and obviously when we go to the cities like that, we have to lower our ticket size also, right?
Mhm.
According to the income group, right? So the income group there is lower compared to the tier 1 cities, right?
Yeah.
So the ticket sizes also go lower. So obviously we have to compromise on the revenue. But I think we will going to create a brand value through this process in the next probably 10 years that is going to be sustained much longer than the companies that are trying to penetrate already exposed market in tier 1 cities. So
Mhm.
that's a long-term goal to become a hyperlocal service provider, probably biggest in Asia, and obviously the biggest company that not just biggest. I think the most affordable IT service company.
Mhm.
That should be the right terminology that I should use. The affordable, because that's a need right now. The companies are lacking in the affordability. The big companies, they are charging for their expertise the amount that they think should be charged. But I think one should find a balance so that the companies that are there already in our country should grow with you, obviously. So that's the thing. The most affordable IT service company. That's the thing in our long. The short-term goal is to get more and more number of users. We have our goals marked in the trajectory of 5 years at how much downloads we are looking for, how much loyal customer, returning customer we are looking for. So that's what we are looking for: the loyal customers, the returning customers,
Mhm.
and the relationship with our clients, the businesses. So that's our short-term goals, and we have our own milestones marked for the next 5 years, like how much in terms of numbers, in terms of revenue. So it's basically more of a number game in the coming 5 years, and then the brand value game in the long term.
Okay. Okay. Great. So the next thing I want to ask that are you planning to raise external funds? And if not now, then are you planning to do so in the near future?
Well, in the very start, we started with a thought that we should bootstrap this company because there was so much hype around the environment in the startup community that if there's no funding, there's no life to the business, there's no life to the startup, and what happens that I personally realized is that what happens that when we start with a thought, that we should get an angel funding or a seed funding, or then the series is comes.
Mhm.
Because of that thought, the energy of the co-founders goes into that thought. Rather,
Mhm.
it should be focused towards running your business, establishing your business,
Mhm.
building communities, building the products that you are willing to offer to your clients or to your potential customers. So the product development phase that goes missing from the mind of co-founders because of this uh, fundraising thing. So, and obviously we were a company who was profitable from day one,
Mhm.
right? Our backbone was our IT business, and we can proudly say that we made our IT business this much profitable that we can run this company and grow this company even in the next 5 years without funding. But obviously, after running this company for around half an a year, sorry, 1.5 year, I've realized that there's no issue in raising funds. if you can utilize that fund effectively. So why I'm saying effectively, because when the money comes, uh, the big the larger the money comes, the larger it goes up, right?
Yeah.
So we've decided that we will going to spend a good amount of time in the product development, in the marketing strategies, and in the online platform development, and the IT services development thing. So we've realized that how much less money we need, right? We don't need much money to develop our product. So once we've realized that we can market our product, market our brand, even in a limited resources, within a limited resources, then we decided that around 60 days back that I think we should go for a funding, for a seed funding round. So yeah, right now we are looking for a seed funding round, but we're not in a we're not basically we're not moving so fast, because we are not just looking to raise money. We are with the money comes the investors, right? And investors are almost as good as mentors in the business. So we are looking for the right fit, good mentor with obviously a good amount of funding. So that's the balance we're looking for, not just the money in our company.
Okay. Lastly, I would love to hear feedback on Startup Lanes, and also if you want to thank someone from your team or friends and family, you can do so.
So Startup Lanes, I think it's a really nice initiative. What you guys doing, fabulous. Getting the newly the underdogs, the startups that are being under the roof somewhere in the country, of bringing their stories out, so that it can reach out to the right audience, maybe the right investors through your platform. And I think it's a good, really, really good initiative, and I'm really happy to be here on your platform.
Okay. If you want to thank someone from your team or friends and family, you can do so.
Well, I think there's no specific person or a group of person. I think everyone in my life has been so supportive, and the team of fabulous team, the great. Sometimes I wonder that maybe my team puts more effort than me, during particular patches in the work. Fabulous team. I have a great team. I want to thank from everyone, from my co-founders to the management level, to vendors, to all the partners that are being working with a brand with loyalty. Our customers, obviously, our potential clients. They're giving us a chance to provide them what we have developed, and yes, obviously the friends and family with all this. So yeah, I'll thank everyone. Yeah, that's it.
Great. So also thank you. Thank you for your time and crucial words. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, great pleasure.